Welcome back, everybody. This is the Renegade Fight. I am RDJ, and I'm back here with my co-host Hot Rod. I tell you what, we're ready to get this show on the road, and we'll be talking about the Commanders versus the Philadelphia Eagles.
All right, so this past weekend, we got to witness an NFL rivalry team, Commanders and the Eagles. So Eagles came in 12-2, Commanders came in 9-5. So Philly, they came in with a hot winning streak. So when they came in with a hot winning streak, one of the hottest teams in the NFL here, they won the last meeting versus the Commanders back in week 11, 26-18. So Washington Commanders came in as one of the best teams in the NFC East and sleeper teams in the NFL, entire NFL. So, Washington won some close games, in the past and everything. So this season, they won some breakout games as well. And the final score for this past weekend game was Eagles 33, Commanders 36.
All right, so as we heard the intro to the Eagles and Commanders on yesterday, what we'll do today is we'll just run down the stat line. It won't be for every player that had a stat, but we'll just run down the ones that really stuck out in the game. So the Eagles had 20 first downs. They had 71 total plays. Total yards for the game for Philadelphia Eagles was 338 yards. They had 10 penalties for 91 yards, 2 turnovers. Their time of possession was 36 minutes, 18 seconds. For the Washington Commanders, they had 23 first downs. They had 64 plays. They had 368 total yards, 6 penalties for 93 yards, 5 turnovers, and their time of possession was 23 minutes, 42 seconds. So from looking at just that aspect of the game, it was a pretty close game, back and forth. And the individual stats for that also as well was for the Philadelphia Eagles, Kenny Pickett threw the ball 24 times, had 14 completions, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. He had 143 passing yards. Jalen Hurts was 1 of 4 with 11 yards. Saquon Barkley out of the rushing department had 29 carries for 115 yards, 2 touchdowns. Out of the receiving department, A.J. Brown, 8 receptions for 97 yards, 1 touchdown. And for Devonta Smith as well, receiving was 6 receptions for 51 yards. So that was for the Eagles stat line of what they've done offensively. And the Commanders.
So what the Commanders did in this game right here was passing Jaden Daniels. He did 24 completions, 39 attempts. Then he got 5 touchdowns in this game, threw 5 touchdowns and only 2 interceptions. Rushing Daniels, 9 carries and 81 yards. And then Brian Robinson. The thing about Brian Robinson is he's an elite back, but the thing that I noticed that he fumbled twice or 3 times. He just couldn't hold on to the ball. But I did notice at the end of the game, he did make up for all those fumbles, and he got 10 carries and 24 yards total. And then receiving, Alame Zaccheaus, 5 receptions, 70 yards, and 2 touchdowns. And Terry McLaurin, 5 receptions, and then 60 yards and 1 touchdown. Okay. And then Diamond Brown, my boy, who I said I had his jersey and I represent him well. Charlotte native, North Carolina native, now my Washington Commanders, 4 receptions, 56 yards. Okay. And then Jameson Crowder, he's a Duke. He's from Duke Blue Devils. alumni and everything. He got 2 receptions, 15 yards, 2 touchdowns, and he also got a game-winning touchdown.
Okay, so looking at that stat line for the Commanders, that was awesome stats right there too as well. And just to see this score was close all the way through. The Philadelphia Eagles defense was what I would call, there wasn't lights out, but they were what I call, they were the team that a team that, well, they stayed on the field a lot, but at the same time they made plays as well. And N'Kobe Dean had 12 tackles, and Zach Brown had 11 tackles, and Darius Slay had 7 tackles. So they was on the field a lot for them to be tackling that pretty well on defense. And I think also um, uh, Eagles, they did their job. They just wasn't enough. And the Commanders' defensive stats was
Okay. Bobby Wagner, middle linebacker, come from Seattle last year. Well, he's a Seattle, can't play for Seattle, but he was a free agent. Washington picked him up. He had 9 tackles in this game. And then Mike Sarensteele, he had 1 tackle. Sarensteele is a slot corner, kind of free safety. He kind of play all over the ball, over the field on defense. And then we got Frankie Louvu. He plays beside Bobby Wagner, middle linebacker slot. And then sometimes he going out outside linebacker or the inside, or they move him around very well. Louisville got 7 tackles. And then Jeremy Chin, 6 tackles. Chin is a safety, is our free safety. Jeremy Chin, he came from the Carolina Panthers, 6 tackles. And then Jerson Newton, 6 tackles and 1 sack. And then Marshawn Lattimore, that's the big trade that they had coming from the New Orleans Saints that we picked him up. When he came in, he had got injured, and he was on the injury list for a while. And he made his first start versus the Saints last weekend, and then this past weekend was his second start. He came in 4 tackles.
okay. That's good information right there. Because I didn't realize that myself. I've been watching a lot of the Commanders games and what's been going on in the front offices and things, but I didn't realize that from a standpoint. So as we see the game, that was a back and forth game. This was a lights out game. I'm gonna call this one for the record books, and well, as I call it, one for the record books. It looks like for the season so far that the Eagles and Commanders split. So from what we understand right now, the Eagles will probably make the playoffs. We believe that, probably win the division, and the Commanders will probably be in the playoffs as well. So depending on what happens in the NFC, they might see each other again. So we just want to see what will happen. But I'm rooting for the Commanders because I want to see them get in the playoffs. They really are what I call that sleeper team, and they can make some noise and scare anybody that they play against. So I encourage everyone to like, share, subscribe. This is RDJ, and this is my co-host Hot Rod. He's back again. This is the Renegade Fight, and always go Noles.
And Merry Christmas. Everybody have a prosperous, safe holiday this holiday season. And Merry Christmas.